Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the end of everything that we know, the end of the new world. In fact, not the end of the new world, the beginning of the new world. And everything that we thought would happen, it is happening right now. So in this live stream, I'm going to be talking about the Mad Max style global crisis that is absolutely going to hit. It's going to hit us in the United Kingdom now. Earlier on the live stream, like this morning, I said something, and I was talking about people need to accept facts. Okay, you know, some people don't like facts. I love facts. We need to understand what's coming, right? And right now, we are looking like we're heading towards that Mad Max style apocalypse. So let me just. If you was on the live stream earlier on, I gave an example about my dad. I said my dad was in total denial about COVID-19. You know, and my dad was like, "Oh no, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen." And after I closed the live stream down, I thought about like how humans perceive danger and perceive threat and perceive reality. So right now, what's happening in the Middle East is thousands of miles away. Like, you know, like in 2020, COVID-19 was happening in China, in Italy, it was happening in other countries. Yeah, and then it hit, right? And then it absolutely hit, and all hell broke loose. So I am going to be talking about that. But first, ladies and gentlemen, what I want to do is I want to give everyone a quick update on this meningitis, okay? Now, for those of you who've been following the live stream, one of the things I've been saying is 6 years and 66 days, as in 666, since the United Kingdom was plunged into lockdown. That brings us to the end of May, May 28th, actually. So I'm just saying that, right? I'm just saying 666 equals May 28th this year. Just throwing it out there, guys. Obviously, that is unrelated to what I'm going to talk about right now. So I'm going to give you guys a quick update on what's been happening with this meningitis, because I do think this is going to drag us all into, you know, national lockdowns. Sorry, let me bring this back. This right now, what we are watching right now, ladies and gentlemen, is giving me 100%. This is giving me 101% COVID vibes. Look at them queuing with the masks on and the fish. You know, they're all queuing. They're all, you know, getting their vaccines. Come on, guys, get your vaccines.
What I can tell you is that the overall number has increased from 29 to 34. So what we have is now 23 confirmed cases. That's up from 18. We have 18 confirmed meningitis B cases, up from 13, and still 11 probable cases. So a total now of 34. Now,
okay, this to me, this is absolutely screaming C19. We're all used to it now, right? We're all used to it. We've all been conditioned. Oh, there's a virus. Follow the science. Best science. Oh, well, let's have daily briefings. Clap for your carers. I didn't fall for any of that. Now, so let me let the video go.
Now, the day before, the total number had risen by only 2, and it had given hope that maybe this outbreak had reached its peak. But I think what these latest numbers suggest is maybe that isn't the case. Health experts had been talking about various scenarios that maybe the outbreak would be contained here, but also that students, many of whom will have gone home for the spring break, then take the incubated bacteria back to their home and ends up with household clusters. So maybe.
Did you hear that? We talked about this the other day, right? We talked about this the other day when students are now going home because there's a 14-day incubation period on this meningitis. Sorry, I've been running around. I've run out of beer, so I've been running around the house trying to find some alcohol, and I've just drank some wine, and I probably shouldn't have. It's really doing me. It's not doing me any favors. So right now we're having the students who may be infected going home to their friends, to their families, doing whatever they do in nightclubs at home, spreading the virus. Who thinks that within the next week, there's going to be cases of meningitis in Manchester, in Birmingham, in Doncaster, in Hartlepool, in Newcastle, all over the country? Because students are... You guys can see where we're going, right?
That is what we're seeing, but certainly the numbers having gone up by 5, having only gone up by 2 the day before.
Emma, thanks very much indeed.
So the and you know, whether you guys want to believe in this or not, remember it's not the reality that matters, it's the perception of the reality. So whether or not there's some sort of crazy meningitis virus cruising around and it's taking everyone to the candy shop or not, the perception is of this that there is. So we're going to have to act accordingly, right? And a good way to deal with that, ladies and gentlemen, is remember 2 weeks to flatten the curve. 2 weeks to flatten the curve, right? What else have we got? We've got the meningitis, right? Okay, so let's start with what's happening in the Middle East, because I want everybody to understand right now how this conflict in the Middle East is going to affect everyone, right? So we've just seen there, and I do think there's so much stuff happening right now, so much stuff. So right now we have this situation in the Middle East, and you know, I just want to throw this back to 2020, right? And the reason I'm doing this, it's not to like throw nostalgia to anyone. It's just because earlier on we were talking about this, right? And I was saying that how and I go and check my previous live stream. I was saying, listen, you know, my dad, when COVID-19 broke out, he didn't think it was going to come and he was in denial. And that's where we are right now. Most people in the United Kingdom are in absolute denial about what's coming. So let's cast a picture, guys, okay? Do you remember those eerie days of 2020? Back in late January and February, when the news from Wuhan was already screaming red flags, a mysterious virus spreading fast, hospitals overwhelmed, cities locking down. But here in the United Kingdom, life carried on normally, right? It did. Life carried on normally. We were watching the catastrophe unfold on our screens, knowing that something huge was coming. Yet no lockdown, no restrictions, just that uneasy in-between feeling where, you know, people are in denial, right? You've got that in-between feeling where the shock had landed, but the real waves hadn't hit. That is exactly where we are right now. I know what's coming, guys. I know what's coming. I know what's coming 100%. And we are there again right now with this US-Israel war on Iran. The initial strikes began on February the 28th, the last day of February. The Strait of Hormuz has been effectively shut down ever since. And the shock is very much here, but the economic tsunami, again, you know, this is something we were talking about earlier. It takes a while for these things to It takes a while for these things to come into fruition. So the full economic tsunami, imagine a tsunami, right? Imagine when the ocean gets sucked out. That's where we are right now. It's not hit us yet. So the economic tsunami is still rolling in across global supply chains, and it's going to hit Britain hard. So whatever you can do right now, ladies and gentlemen, whatever you can do right now to mitigate this, please do it. Please do it, guys. Now, let's be clear about what's at stake over that narrow stretch of water. Before the conflict, roughly 1/5 of 20% of the world's crude oil flowed through the Strait of Hormuz. Around 20 million barrels a day, fueling everything from cars to power stations. About 1/5, again, of liquefied natural gas passed through the Strait of Hormuz, much of it from Qatar. Then there's fertilizer. Nobody talks about fertilizer, all right? 1/3 of global seaborne trade in fertilizer transits through there. Nobody talks about that. The Gulf states supplying nearly half the world, and big and big chunks of ammonia as well. Helium. There's so much stuff that passes through the Strait of Hormuz, and it's done now. It's finished. It ain't coming back. 3 to 5 years, I would say. Now, you've got byproducts like sulfur, which is vital for sulfates and fertilizers and industry. Roughly half of exported sulfur moves through the Strait of Hormuz. Because all these things are derivatives, they all come from gas and oil, right? When you fractionally distillate, you get other materials as well. Now, these are not fringe commodities. Fossil fuels do remain the backbone of our energy system. Fertilizers, yes, fertilizers keep global food production going. Without them, crop yields plummet. Now, if you guys remember, I'm just throwing this out there in my head. There has been a push towards farming without fertilizer, right? Because fertilizer is apparently bad. There has been a push towards there's been a push towards electric vehicles. We all can't understand why. Well, if the government know that this war is coming and all this supply is going to be closed off, makes sense to try and get as many people on these things as quickly as possible without saying there's a war coming. Helium, again, a lot of helium passes through the Strait of Hormuz, which is essential for semiconductors, which literally power everything from your smartphone and car to the data centers driving the AI revolution. Sulfur, which is a derivative of gas purification, when that flow stops, it's not just higher prices at the pump. We start to look at famine, because farmers, even though the price is high right now, when you can't get stuff, you can't grow stuff. We've all seen this movie before. We have. I've seen this movie before. You guys, if you're old enough, it's only 6 years ago, right? We've all seen this movie before. We lived through COVID. And it's interesting how the more I think about it, the more I'm convinced that whoever's running the show right now, and it's clearly not the government, it's whoever's behind the government, they are pretty much, they must have inboxes, influencers, or like data analysis from movies. Because this setup and payoff thing that I've been talking about for quite a while, it's so it's once you see it, you can't unsee it. Now, back before with COVID-19, a temporary blockage in trade those endless queues of shipping off the ports like Felixstowe or Shanghai, they triggered massive disruptions. Now, just imagine this. Imagine this, if you will. Imagine adding production shutdowns on top. So you've got that again, but you've got now production shutdowns, which is happening right now, guys. It is. I promise you, right now in the United Kingdom, companies are closing down. Oil and gas fields shut in because storage, because storage is full and there's nowhere to send it. We've already seen this. The Iraqis, the Iraqi oil, they've closed their oil fields down. They've just turned them off. Right? Click the power to those wells. Why? Well, we can't get the oil out and our storage facilities are full. So what we're going to do? We're just going to keep pumping and pump it into the water? No, of course not. So oil and gas fields have closed down because storage is full. So Iraq's the first one. I don't know which countries have the most, and I do actually know which has got the most at least, but I don't know in between, right? So I know that the Saudi Arabians have the most oil storage capacity. I think they've got like 2 months or something. I know the Iraqis have virtually I think they've got a couple of days, 2 or 3 days or something, maybe 4. I don't know. Definitely less than a week. So they're closing down their, they're literally turning all their pumps off, their oil refineries. Again, a lot of them may be damaged, but they're just turning them all off. Now, you can't just flip a switch to restart them. Best case scenarios, it takes months to start these things. Remember, guys, I've worked there. So when you see these people on mainstream media, oh, but Donald Trump should do this. Oh, but Keir Starmer should do this. They don't understand. The politicians, first of all, Keir Starmer doesn't know what he's talking about. Donald Trump may know what he's talking about. Ultimately, you have to send an engineer out to each and every one of those wellheads. It takes time. You can't just flip a switch to restart these things. It takes months, maybe even longer. Especially when infrastructure's had drone strikes and missile attacks. Things are not, there's no such thing, guys, as a new normal. This is it now. This is it. People are in denial. The mainstream media don't know what they're talking about because they don't know the mainstream media right now are dealing with unknown unknowns, right? You got all these people coming on saying, blah, 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 blah. And clearly, the Middle East, oil, gas, energy, drones, military, this is my area of expertise, right? 100%, this is my area of expertise. When I see these people on the TV giving these answers, I'm shocked and I'm worried and I'm afraid in equal amount. Because if these are the people we have in charge right now, we're diddly swizzled, guys. We are diddly swizzled. But don't worry. Actually, forget don't worry, because you may need to worry. But let's not worry about, that's the wrong way to say. Right. Okay. So that's where we are today. The airstrikes are continuing. The war is continuing. So that's where we are today on what? The 23rd, not the 23rd, the 22nd, 21st of March. And it's escalating fast. Israeli airstrikes recently targeted Iran's South Pars gas field, the world's largest gas field, knocking out chunks of global liquid natural gas or something, LNG. That's for years. That's years, ladies and gentlemen. That is years. That's not just like, oh, we've turned their gas off. How long for? Couple of years. You don't just go to B&Q. I was in B&Q earlier. I had to go to B&Q. That's not relevant. You don't go to B&Q and IKEA and buy the tools to go and refurbish these things. You have to have engineers and construction companies. It's millions and millions and millions to do this, and it takes time. So with the gas, that, you know, and while we're all thinking about gas, a byproduct of gas is fertilizer, right? It's livestock feeds, it's helium, it's sulfur, the raw inputs that make everything else. So all these people on mainstream media, you know, the politician, they don't know what they're talking about, guys. And I'm genuinely terrified. Honestly, I am genuinely terrified watching the mainstream media and listening. You can't really blame the anchors for not asking good questions. You know, you get an anchor, I don't know, like whoever's the anchor, and they get someone to interview. That anchor, they're just asking random questions. They don't really know what they're talking about either. But the answers I've seen are just terrifying. So when we see gas production cut, it's not just gas, guys. It's not just gas. It's fertilizer, helium, sulfur. Now, like COVID-19, when we saw this stuff happening in China, you know, oh, it's in China, don't worry. Don't worry, it's only in China. It's, it's miles away, miles away. Yeah. Here in the United Kingdom, we are still somewhat buffered for now. And I do mean that, guys, for now. Petrol and diesel are already painfully high, yes. Adding real pressure to everyday households and business costs. But the full hit will come through a tangled web of global supply chains. So what might we see? First of all, surging inflation. Inflation, guys, as input costs ripple through. Shortages of essentials. Stagflation, so prices up, but growth is down. Redistribution shocks hitting the poorest, the hardest. And look, guys, one of my friends in Ukraine, he said to me, he said, the rich never pay for anything. I understand that now. The poorest will be hit the hardest. Even broader financial instability that we're seeing. I was hearing that, like, you know, mortgages and everything's going up, guys. Okay, small producers are already folding. You know, I think there were like fishermen in the Philippines who closed down. Anything that uses, like, you know, the initial fuel cost, petrol, diesel, gas. Right now, if you use petrol, diesel, gas, so if you've got a ship and you're a fisherman, if you've got a truck and you're a haulage company, you know, can you imagine if you're a haulage company in the United Kingdom and you've just tried to undercut one of your competitors? And you're like, yeah, you know, I'll undercut them, and now your overheads are going your overheads are going up. Yeah, you guys know what's coming, right? Farmers are going to face skyrocketing fertilizer prices just as planting season looms, because right now we're in planting season. And so look, guys, go and look. You know what I said to you guys? If you're watching right now, can you please, everyone, just start growing food? Can we all just start growing? Can we all just agree that we all need to start growing food? Whatever that is, whatever that food is, You can do a big monocrop. You can do, you can have a diverse crop. Whatever it is, guys, just please start growing something in your gardens. So with the rise, with fertilizer going up, that means that the cost of food's going up. With the cost of food going up, that means that that's going to be less money in your pockets. Energy bills already, like, I think they're at a national high. They will climb higher, guys. If you live in the United Kingdom, we don't produce our own gas. We import gas. If global gas prices are going up, guess what? Your energy bills are going up as well. Now, this war's real chaos is the closing of the Strait of Hormuz. And no one knows when or if this is going to resume. But one thing is for certain, 100%. The blow to the global economy, to ordinary people, especially in Britain, is inevitable. We've had the warning shot, and the real pain is on the way, guys. The real pain is on the way. We don't feel it yet because these conflicts are miles away, and it's only been like, 21 or maybe 22 days. 22 days of bombing and missile strikes, 22 days. Can you guys remember back in 2020? When we was watching all this stuff in China, oh my God, look what's happening in China. Oh no, look what's happening in Italy. Oh no, it's in Europe now. Oh yeah, it's in the United Kingdom. Yeah, we're cooked. That is literally where we are, guys. We are heading towards a Mad Max, a full-scale Mad Max scenario. So whatever you do, and I'm going to do a members-only video on this later on if I've got time, but definitely tomorrow. Whatever you are doing, whatever you are right now, wherever you are right now, just consider how you would cope. Just consider this, guys, okay? Because I do think these lockdowns are coming. Just consider how you would cope if your energy went off. I'm talking gas and electric off. Water go, gas, electric. Imagine if that's turned off tomorrow, tonight, now. Imagine if it's turned off now. I shouldn't have drank that glass of wine. I need to pour it away. Gas, electric goes off, and you can't turn your water on. What are you going to do? Like, literally, what would you do? I'm going to assume you would go to try and buy some water, right? I'm going to assume you will go down to the supermarket and you would try and buy some water. Guess what everyone else is trying to do? Yeah, they're not there for crackers and crisps. Although they may buy some crackers and crisps. They're there for water, right? And if you're a little bit late to the queue, yeah, you ain't getting none. You ain't getting none. Your gas turns off. How are you going to cook? I mean, we don't need to worry about heating for a while because the weather's starting to pick up. But how are you going to cook? Listen, if you live in our house, everybody gets angry with me because I will just crack a tin of beans and eat it with a spoon cold. Could you do that? Could your kids do that? Mummy, these beans are cold. Daddy, I can't eat these beans, they're cold. The electricity goes off. How are you gonna get internet? How are you gonna charge your phone? How are you gonna watch my live stream? That's the main one, right? How are you going to watch my live stream? And on that bombshell, ladies and gentlemen, if you are on right now and you've not done so already, can you please hit those buttons down below? The like, comment, subscribe, bell notification. Because you'll find fingers. When you touch those buttons, guys, it does get me giddy. It does. It gets me giddy. Right, let me jump onto the chat, guys. That's what we're talking about this evening, actually. Right, let me jump on the chat. Right, William. William's going straight in. He's going straight in timeout. William's going straight in timeout. Anybody else want to go in timeout? Anybody else want to go in timeout? Because I'll throw everyone in timeout. Old School is saying, one of my earliest memories was pedaling my little tractor to my, oh God, that's beautiful. That is beautiful. Old school. This is, look, my little tractor to my granddad's growing patch. It was the side of a council house garden, but he grew a lot. Military taught him that, I think. That's beautiful. That is absolutely beautiful. Right, guys, listen. I'm going to keep saying this. Can everyone please grow something? If you're a bit daunted about growing stuff in your garden, look, I'm not going to pretend that I'm some sort of like ninja at growing stuff. We grew potatoes and we had like one of the big planters and we had shitloads of potatoes. It was fantastic. That was like maybe 2 years ago. I then tried to grow tomatoes. I love a good tomato. It was an absolutely disaster. We didn't get any. The next year we didn't grow any. This year we're putting in sprouts and cabbages. So can everybody please just start to grow things? Right, I'm just jumping down to the bottom, guys. So I do absolutely apologize if I'm missing anyone's chat. Andrew is saying potatoes are easy. Yeah, right. Okay, Andrew Rushton. Yeah, let's everybody count. Yeah, potatoes are easy. Yeah, potatoes are easy. I can't grow hair like that, Sean. Amazing, wonderful hair. Thank you, Phil. I'm glad we've got some hair appreciation. Sarah came earlier. While I was in here, she said, Sean, she said, I'm cutting your hair. And she did, she cut it. It was difficult, but I let her cut it. Lisa Jane is saying, I have a wind-up radio with charging ports, so I will be able to watch you, Sean. Thank you, Lisa. I'm just jumping up and getting some of these comments, guys, while... Templar Matt is saying, I've been saying for a few years, Sean, grow. Yeah, we should all be growing food, guys. Like what? Like if you're not growing food, like what? Why are you not growing food? It's literally nothing. It comes out the ground. All you have to do is water it every now and then. Marrowmind is saying, I've got some Derwent pencils. I don't know what they are. I have no idea what a Derwent pencil is, but yeah, use your Derwent pencils, guys, if you've got them. Wartime diets are the best and healthiest for a country. Yeah, that's where we're going, guys. We are absolutely going to wartime scenarios. There's so much stuff happening right now. It's unbelievable. There's going to be lockdowns. I don't see any scenario right now where we don't have lockdowns. You know, where the energy is turned off. In the United Kingdom, I don't know if you guys know this. In the United Kingdom, our power plants are powered by gas. Yeah. You guys know exactly what that means, right? In the United Kingdom, our power plants are powered by gas. So can anyone tell me what happens? I don't know. Pretend I don't know, right? Can anyone tell me what happens when the power plants don't get any gas? Do they still work? Do they still keep working? Does Keir Starmer come and sign a new piece of paper? Oh, I'm going to sign this new declaration. I'm going to sign this new law that says that power plants have to keep going even though there's no gas. Yeah, Keir, mate. Yeah, I've got your directive 316. Yes. Yeah, I'm just reading it here, mate. It says that in the event of Britain running out of gas, we have to keep operating. Yes, because we need to keep energy to people. Yeah, Keir, you do realise if we've got no gas to pump into the turbines, those turbines ain't going to move. Well, I've signed a new law to say that they must move. Like, what are we going to do? We're going to get like hamsters? Are we going to get hamsters? Little hamsters in their cages? Little hamsters in their cages running real fast? It's not going to happen, guys, okay? When the gas gets turned off, How many days have we got? I think we've got 9 days left. Maybe 9 days. I'm still aiming towards the 2nd and 3rd of April, guys. For me, that's my date, 2nd and 3rd of April. I'm just working towards them. Right, I'm just jumping to the bottom again. Paul is saying your shadow figure is back. What's behind me? What's behind me? Is there a little shadow figure behind me? Some like little wild thing. Linda Lou is saying, I'm reading a book called Stuck in Eggs. It's about rationing during World War II. It's very interesting with some great ideas. Yeah, we're all going to have to come to that again. Guys, grow potatoes. You know what? Grow potatoes. Everybody grow potatoes. Forget what I said previously, right? Potatoes. Everybody should be growing. Like, listen, if you've never grown anything in your life, do you know what? Maybe it was fate. Maybe it was serendipity. Maybe I'm just making it up. I've never grown anything in my entire life. I've never. Like a couple of years ago, we grew it. We had like this big planter, and we just grew potatoes. Literally, they weren't potato seeds; they were just potatoes we'd had in the cupboard, and they'd started to get little sprouts off them. So Sarah's dad said, "We'll just plant them." Anyway, I just watched that movie. What was it? With Matt Damon. Where he's on Mars. It's not Interstellar. The other one, I don't know what the movie's called. And he grows a shitload of potatoes. So I was like, yeah, we're going to go, we'll just grow potatoes. So we grew these potatoes. Honestly, like, it was the most enchanting thing we've ever done. Like, the girls, they were a lot younger then. They were going out. They were getting there. They were foraging for the potatoes, and they would bring the potatoes in. They would clean them, and they'd eat all their dinner. They would eat all their dinner. So listen, this is going to be my general advice right now to everyone, right? Grow potatoes. That's it. I'm not going to tell people, don't grow monoculture, just grow potatoes. You get a lot of bang for your buck whether you're growing potatoes. And if I can do it, listen, guys, if I can do it, grow potatoes like anyone can. Yeah, grow potatoes. Now, the reason I'm saying grow potatoes, I don't know if you guys know this, but in the Second World War, I think it was the First World War, actually. No, definitely the First World War. So in the First World War, nobody ate potatoes. They were like animal feed. So what the government did, they put these signs on the potato fields saying, royal potatoes keep out. So people snuck in. People used to sneak in and steal some royal potatoes. They were just the same potatoes. And that's why in the United Kingdom, we make so much stuff with potatoes. Andy Yorkshire says, you only have to walk into town. It soon becomes obvious by the herbal aroma that plenty of... Oh, right, okay. Earlier, like... I was going to do a video on this, but I went into Rotherham the other day. Rotherham's like, it's where I open my bank, so I have to go in there every now and then. I walked through Rotherham the other day. I felt like I needed therapy when I left. All right, that place is grim. It is, guys. It's absolutely grim. Right, let me skip down, guys. Let me jump to the bottom. No, hang on. Emma Jane is saying, I want to grow things with some sort of protection from crap from the sky, like a greenhouse, but that might be too hot for potatoes. Guys, I don't know. I'm certainly not the best. Look, guys, I'm not the best person. But just, can everyone try and grow stuff? Oh, hang on a minute. We've got an update from we've got an update from Israel. So Silly Gallardi, I don't know if you guys know or not, but she is in Israel, and she's saying that we had about 50 injured tonight, and no, they did not hit the textile factory. I don't know what that means, but listen, you know what I think this does mean is this war. This missile pugilism, this missile war between the United States, Israel, and Iran, it's not going anywhere, guys. It's not going anywhere. Remember, okay? Remember when it first started, I said to you guys, I said, listen, this ain't going to be over for 3 years. And now I think it might be 3 to 5 years. So 3 years as a minimum. Just imagine where this is going to explode into. Imagine where it's going to go, guys. Plant a tin of mandarins. Yeah, I don't think you can. Do mandarins grow on tins? I don't know. Right, I'm just jumping up, guys. I'm just jumping up and looking at the comments. Andrew is saying you can starve while being full of rabbit, though. It's all protein or something takes. Do you know what? Let me Google this, right? So I've heard this a few times, right? So when we're talking about eating rabbits, right? I've heard a few times that if you eat rabbit meat, you don't get it. Like chewing rabbit meat burns more calories than you get back off it. Let me Google this because I don't believe this is true. Hang on. Let me Google this. Right, let me share this with you guys because I'm I thought it was BS. I absolutely thought it was BS when right, let's share this. So rabbits, all right. Well, there's loads of rabbits in England and England, Ireland, Scotland, and Wales. There's loads of rabbits. So the duty rumor is that if you eat a rabbit, chewing the rabbit meat burns more calories than you get from the rabbit. So I've always thought that's BS. Anyway, so yes, eating rabbit meat provides calories, as in a rich source of a lean protein and contains some fat. On average, 100 grams of rabbit serving of cooked rabbit meat contains between 147 to 197 calories. So that's quite good, right? While it is calorie providing food, it's famous for being exceptionally lean compared to other meats. Low fat content. Rabbit has significantly less fat than beef, pork, or even chicken with skin. Wow. So rabbit meat has less fat than chicken. Chicken with skin. So if you take the skin off chicken, then maybe chicken's leaner. High protein density. Most of its calories come from protein rather than fat. For example, a 3-ounce serving can... That's quite good. That's quite good. The rabbit starvation myth. You might have heard, yes, that it takes more... Yeah, this is what I've heard, guys. Listen, we've all... Look, you guys are on this channel and we are debunking these myths. We're debunking these myths together, right? Go out and get yourself some rabbit meat. The rabbit starvation myth. You might have heard the myth that it takes more energy to digest rabbit than it provides in so you're getting negative calories. This is incorrect. While protein has a high thermic effect, I don't know what that means, taking more energy to process them fats or carbs, you still net a significant amount of energy from eating it. The actual danger, known as rabbit starvation, protein poisoning, occurs only if you eat nothing but extremely lean meat like rabbit for weeks, because the body needs some fat. Yeah, okay, so throw some potatoes in with it. Right, listen, this is where we're going, right? This is where we're going. I think I'm going to have to start going hunting for some little rabbits. I'm going to go hunting for some little rabbits with my, we're not allowed crossbows anymore in the UK, are we? So I'm going to have to go with like my, I'm going to have to go with my slingshot like David and Goliath. Get my little slingshot, get myself a rabbit with some potatoes that we've grown. And I'm gonna grow potatoes as well. So this year, we're going to do potatoes. Potatoes. How am I going to do the potatoes? I'm going to have to figure out how to do the potatoes. We're going to do potatoes. We're going to do sprouts, and we're going to do cabbage. That's how we're rolling this year, guys. Potatoes, sprouts, and cabbages. So yes, the mythos, Mr. Mythos has been debunked that you can, yes, eating rabbit does provide you with calories. All right, it was fake news. I always thought it was fake news. Right, I'm just going to jump to the bottom, guys. So I do apologize. Oh, Jason is saying they open the coal mines and drill oil in the North Sea. Forget net zero. We can't rely on foreign countries. Yeah, we're totally swizzled in the United Kingdom. We have this crazy net zero agenda that's just like, it's not good, right? Just when we talk about, in fact, you know what? There's a new butcher's I think I'm going to try. When we talk about net zero, it's so absurd. I know I've said this quite a while, but Jason Smith, is this your first comment? Britain is sitting on 46 trillion pound of oil in British Antarctic Territory in Antarctica. Obviously, British Antarctic Territory. It's not going to be in Mauritius, right? Just for context, so everybody understands, that is enough money to give every man, woman, and child in the United Kingdom over £500,000 in their back pocket. Why are we not going and taking that oil? Like that makes more sense to me, right? When we talk about coal, we sit on a huge coal mine, actually. When we talk about coal, Britain has 200 years of, we sit on 200 years of coal. It's unbelievable. But we don't want to get it out because we want to be, I don't know. We want to be net zero. Oh, Cassandra is saying, my mum made rabbit stew once and my dad asked what she put in it. Go figure. So I've got a friend who doesn't live far from me, and he was in the parachute regiment as well. I've spoke to him and I've said, mate, he lives on a farm. I said, Andy, I love Andy. He's a great guy. I might do a video at Andy's actually. Should I go to Andy's and do a video? I said, Andy, what's the best way to cook rabbits? He said, oh, mate, the dog goes and gets them all the time. So he's got a Malinois. His name's Kaiser, beautiful dog. He goes and brings rabbits back all the time. He's just, Kaiser, go. And Kaiser, the dog, will go and bring these rabbits back. And what he does is he skins them, he guts them, he boils them, and he makes a curry out of them. And he says, yeah, that's his go-to. Right, just jumping to the bottom, guys. Rod is saying there's oil off the coast of Hull as well. The UK government is keeping quiet, sitting on it, just in case the Scottish ever get independence and take the North Sea oil for themselves. I didn't know that. Everyday school day, guys. Lewis Ackers is saying, remember, they start wars in the thick of smoke, but complain at cows for farting. I don't know whether you're going to have to give me more context on that. Oh, hang on a minute. Ruben, is saying tipsy rabbit cooked in cider. This sounds like something I can get behind. Listen, this sounds like something I can get behind. Let me Google this. What is Tipsy Rabbit? Jesus. Oh my God. Ruben has just opened the door for me. Right. This is a Spanish dish. Tipsy Rabbit cooked in cider is a rustic classic dish that involves braising rabbit in hard cider to produce tender meat in a rich, savoury sauce. It's frequently accompanied by bacon and pancetta, caramelized onion, and apples and herbs. I think I'm sold. I think I am sold, guys. I think I'm sold on Tipsy Rabbit. I think I'm done. I think my life journey has come to a climax right now, guys. I'm at the crescendo. I'm at the crescendo in my human evolution. Tipsy Rabbit. Yeah, I'm doing Tipsy Rabbit. Thank you so much, Ruben. Every day is school day. Every day is school day. Right, listen, guys, we're jumping off topic. We're jumping off topic, but I don't mind. So let's get back on focus, okay? I believe the lights are going to go off in the United Kingdom. It is going to get dark, and we are heading towards a Mad Max style global crisis. And there's no denying it now, guys. This will hit soon. It's going to hit soon. It's going to hit hard. And the people who don't know it's coming, it's going to hit them the hardest, right? So just consider, and I'm going to go back through this again. Now, earlier on, we was on a live stream, and I was talking to you guys, and I gave the example. I can't remember why I gave the example. Denial. I was talking about people being in denial about what's happening, right? And I gave you guys the analogy. Well, it wasn't the anecdote, right? Of back in 2020, my when all this was happening, my dad was in denial about COVID-19, right? When it was coming over to when it was happening, and he was seeing it in China. I was like, Dad, this is gonna at that point, with the media, I didn't know what it was, but what I was saying is, Dad, this is gonna come. Look at how the media are reporting this. Look at the money, time, and effort China are building hospitals, field hospitals, locking people down in their homes. This is definitely coming. And my dad, he wasn't interested. He was like, no, it's not going to come here. No, it's in China. No, I'm not bothered. And then even when it hit the United Kingdom and there was the first case, I remember it. I remember the first case. And I think I actually got a notification. I'm pretty sure I was with my dad at the time who was collecting some wood or something. And it was January, right? And I got a notification on my phone. I said, Dad, the first case is in wherever it be, Stansted, I think it was, or something. I can't remember. Wherever it was, it doesn't matter. I said, Dad, the first case is here now in the United Kingdom. And my dad was still in denial. That's where we are right now. People are in absolute denial to what's happening in the Middle East and how that's going to affect us. Not to go over again, in such depth as I did. And if you're joining for the first time, guys, I went through this. I went through a lot of this. All the mainstream media right now are talking about gas, right? Gas and oil, which means power plants in the United Kingdom. They're not going to have any gas. So doesn't matter how many documents Keir Starmer signs. If they ain't no gas, they ain't turning. That's the reality, guys, okay? If those turbines don't get any gas, they're not turning, which means your power's going to go off, right? It's going to get dark. Now, obviously the petrol and the diesel. I do see a scenario where the where the diesel's been taken off the shelves. However, byproducts from this are huge. The byproducts are absolutely huge, and people don't talk about these these byproducts. So sulfur, which is vital for phosphate fertilizers. Yeah, that's not coming anymore, guys. So you think that food is bad now, and you think that the price is bad now. Yeah, wait till this kicks in. Literally, wait till this kicks in, because you've got fertilizer. It's not just energy. You've got fertilizer, you've got feedstocks, you've got helium, you've got sulfur. These are like the raw materials. The raw materials that everything else comes from. When you stop the raw materials, yes, people right now, I've said this. I keep saying this because right now I can guarantee this will be happening. There will be people in factories, and they will have they'll all be having the boardroom offices, and they'll say, right, John, yes, mate, right, how much gas do we have? Not enough. Right, okay. How much sales do we have? Not enough. Right, what are we going to do? Well, and they'll be in denial, right? Remember, what do I always say on this channel, guys, okay? In any crisis, you need to take decisive action. You need to take decisive action early on. Any crisis, taking decisive, admitting the reality early on. That's the first step, right? You admit what's coming. You accept it. Then you take decisive action. I don't know what that decisive action is, guys. Everybody is going to be different right now. Absolutely everybody is going to be different. And I don't know what your situation is. What I would say as a generic guidance to everyone, grow potatoes. Put some potatoes, take them out the fridge, put them in a cupboard, in a dark cupboard, and they'll start to sprout. Put them in the dirt and water them. Done, right? Done. You're going to have a shitload of potatoes. Gas, energy, I don't know what we can do. Like, yes, you can buy, you can go and buy a generator, but then fuel's going to be, you're not going to be able to get fuel either. So you can try and buy solar, but that's really expensive because it's not the solar panels, it's the batteries. So everybody's situation is going to be different, guys, okay? And what I will always say, and what I always do as well, is I always imagine what would be my immediate response. What's my immediate action? So in the military, you get an immediate action plan. They say, right, listen, if this kicks off now, this is what we're going to do, right? That's what we're going to do right now. If it all kicks off right now, we're going to do this. We don't have a fully fledged plan, but that's what we're going to do, the immediate action. Then you develop your plan, you refine it, you hone it, and then you come up with something better. So try and just consider what would happen if your gas, electricity, and water went off. All of those things, actually. I do think all of those things are going to go off. Also, what we've been talking about this afternoon, is the meningitis outbreak that does seem to be ripping through the United Kingdom. Look, what time are we on? Yeah. One thing I'm going to mention right now about, I'll share this video again. One thing I'm going to mention about meningitis is 6 years and 66 days since Britain went into lockdown brings us to the 28th of March. Just saying, guys, I've been talking about that date for a while. I'm just saying, I don't know what's coming. I'm just saying that is 666 6 years and 66 days. Is it that one? Yeah, I think it's that one.
Can tell you is that the overall number has increased from 29 to 34. So what we have is now 23 confirmed cases. That's up from 18. We have 18 confirmed meningitis B cases, up from 13, and still 11 probable cases. So a total now of 34. Now, the day before, the total number had risen by only 2, and it had given hope that maybe this outbreak had reached its peak. But I think what these latest numbers suggest is maybe that isn't the case. Health experts had been talking about various scenarios that maybe the outbreak would be
May the 28th.
contained here, but also that students, many of whom will have gone home for the spring.
I'm not saying anything's going to happen. I'm just saying May the 28th is 6 years and 66 days since Britain was put into the first lockdown. Just saying, just throwing it out there, right?
Break, then take the incubated bacteria back to their home and ends up with household clusters. So maybe that is what we're seeing, but certainly the numbers having gone up by 5, having only gone up by 2 the day before.
So there we have it, the meningitis virus, the war, the food shortages, the energy crisis. Things don't look good, right? Things don't look good if you live, if you're alive. If you're alive right now, things don't look good. Right, let me just try and do a quick search, see if there's been any news on this meningitis, because I know this is developing quickly. I always spell it wrong. There we go. 2 hours ago, what? Yeah, I think that's the most latest. I think that's the latest update. Meningitis. What's the impact on Cardiff's, Canterbury's local economy? UK Gov. Yeah, There's not really been any substantial updates on the meningitis virus. Right, ladies and gentlemen, I am gonna start to close this live stream down. I am. The crux of this has been what we just spoke about earlier. I do think the lights are going to be turned off. I do think we're going to have some sort of energy lockdowns, and we're looking like a Mad Max style global crisis where nobody's got any fuel, marauding gangs. Like, how are the police going to come and how are the police going to come and sort crime out if there's no, if there's no diesel? Dean is saying they've swizzled fishing and swizzled the farming, swizzled the oil. We should be self-sufficient. Yeah, I do, guys. Do you know what? I absolutely, I really do think more people need to, look, if you're watching my channel, if you're watching this right now, first of all, if you're watching this right now and you've not done so already, can you hit those buttons down below? And please, do you know what? Please share this with a friend. Please share this with a friend, because the more people that are self-sufficient, even if it's just growing like one of those strings of, sprouts. Even if you just grow one of those strings of sprouts in your window, it's something, right? It's better than nothing. And it's going to be a little thing, and you're going to be growing it, and it's going to be, So more people need to be self-sufficient. I'm talking about energy, food, and water. Whatever you guys can do to become more self-sufficient with energy, food, and water, it's just a plus, right? Sean Persons is saying the police can't sort themselves out, they don't turn up anyway. Yeah, I think you're right. Sherry Hepperstone is saying great chat, stay safe you lot and get planting. Yeah, guys, look, if you take nothing away from this particular live stream, can everybody please just try and consider, as best to their ability, to grow potatoes? Like, they're the easier. Well, I've got limited experience, right? But for us, we literally just planted the potatoes from the cupboard in a planter and watered them. and we got a shit ton of potatoes, and it was, you know, it was great. So can everyone, if you've never considered growing food, I've got a splinter in my little finger. If you've never considered growing food before, please just grow potatoes. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to close this down. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to be on about 10 minutes early. So I'll be on about 9:50 tomorrow, but I'll still be streaming at, I'll still be streaming at 10 o'clock. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I bid you good night. Go and get like creative with your potatoes and your sprouts and stuff, and I'll see you in the morning.